Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to another video, man. And in this video, we have a Dirk Nowitzki build, as you guys have seen from the title, from the thumbnail, man. We got Dirk. Somebody requested Dirk. They're going to get Dirk, man. And we got the shades of Dirk Nowitzki on this one as well. I was kind of thinking like earlier or like the other day when I was making this build, I was thinking, you know, maybe just keeping it the original way, but then I just kept tweaking it a little bit to see if I could naturally just get that shades of Dirk Nowitzki, and then we managed to. But yeah, but this is like kind of like my final version of it, though. Regardless if I was able to get the shades of Dirk or not, and this is what I came up with. But we got a power forward that is 7 foot, man, a 7 foot power forward with a 7'2" wingspan, 245 pounds. We have a Dirk Nowitzki kind of build, man, where you're focusing on shooting. You're focusing on the post-up offense. You can grab the boards and everything like that, man. That's why the title of this video has that specific build name, man, because it's pretty cool, because this is one of the original versions. If you actually go to the Kobe era and you actually take a look at his roster version on the Kobe era, you will see that he is called like a 3-level scoring board hunter or some shit like that, like the same build name pretty much. So that's exactly what I was going for, because I'm like, hell yeah, that makes sense. Let's try and make that. So what we have here, though, we have a 96 close shot. We have a 75 driving layup. We also have a whopping 60 on our driving dunk, but we also have a 75 standing dunk in a 96 post control. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the stats here, man. A 96 close shot, that gives you that paint prodigy badge on Hall of Fame. You also get float game on Hall of Fame, hook specialist on Hall of Fame. We're going to be really, really good at scoring on the inside with the post-up offense, because we also have the 96, which does give you that unpluckable on gold. Congratulations. You have a 96 for unpluckable on gold. But then you still need a 96 ball handling just to get a Hall of Fame, man. What the hell is this shit? Yeah. So we have gold unpluckable. We have gold post powerhouse. We also have Hall of Fame post fade phenom, post up poet, and hook specialist, as we already mentioned. So we got some really, really good post up offense badges, which I feel like is phenomenal for us, and which definitely does, you know, equate to Dirk Nowitzki, because he did like a lot of post up stuff, but he did a lot of this so-called post fade phenom stuff, where he would do like a lot of post fades, or just, you know, like step backs in the mid range. Just in general, he was a really, really good mid range shooter, but he could also, you know, shoot it from the 3, which we'll talk about here in a second, though. But his driving layup is a 75, and you know, the 75 is really nothing in terms of like the actual like badge breakpoints or even animation breakpoints, though. But it is still the rating that he has on the roster version that we have here. So I might as well just go ahead and put that on. And we do have physical finisher on bronze, as well as aerial wizard on bronze, so it's nothing too crazy, but we do have it in general. Then also that float game, so that will kind of help us out as well. The driving dunk being a 60, you know, is higher. So it's like the driving layup is the same as the roster version. The driving dunk is a little bit higher. It's only 5 points higher, just so we can get a 60, just so we can get, you know, some more dunk animations and such, you know, some of those like quick drops and everything. When we do get like a wide open lane to the basket, for whatever reason, we get like a backdoor cut or something like that, we can just get those quick drops going for us. We get aerial wizard on bronze, so, you know, it's not like it's going to help us on finishing at the rim for sure, but I mean, hey, there you have it. The standing dunk, though, is a 75. We do have rise up on bronze, because you need a 72 plus rating in order to get it. And the standing dunk is also significantly higher. This is 10 points higher than what he has on the roster version. The roster version is dunk ratings is a 55 driving dunk and a 65 standing dunk, but we increased it to a 60 and a 75 respectively there, just so we can get more use out of the stats, and also because we are able to use more stats all around. So that's pretty much the main thing there. And, we already talked about the post control. He's got a 96 post control on the roster. We have a 96 post control here. Pretty good. But the 96 close shot is higher than what he has on the roster. He's got only a 92, which the 92 makes it to where we can't get a Hall of Fame paint prodigy and hook specialist. But as you can see, we get a significant boost to our overall potential when we do drop it down to a 92. So it's like you could utilize it on, some other stats here. But with the way that all these stats are specifically, there really is nothing too insane that we can throw our stuff on unless we wanted to do speed or vertical. Those would be like the only two that would be 100% necessary, because we're still not going to be able to get high enough driving dunk to really matter. We're not going to be able to get a super high, standing dunk for it to matter. And I'll show you guys this right now. It's like we can get like an 81, which is pretty good, but it's not like we can get to the 90 in order to get that gold rise up. And we'd also need the vertical increased as well. And then also we would need like a 75, I think, vertical rating for the big man contact dunks, the elite big man contact dunks anyway. So it's like we could get the rise up badge on silver and all that, but it's not Dirk. That's the problem. Is like it's just not Dirk when you do that, because Dirk on the roster version here that I have only has a 65. We're trying to keep it like as close as possible, but because we can upgrade it, we do. So there's all that. But the shooting, man, let's talk about the shooting. Obviously, we're not going to have, the crazy insane shooting stats and attributes that he has on the roster, but we're able to, at least get some attributes going. So for the mid-range, we have a 90. The three-pointer is an 83, and then we have a 92 free throw. So everything here is pretty much maxed out completely. First thing that we did, max out the shooting completely. Done so. He originally on the roster version has a 96 mid-range, an 88 three-point rating, and an 88 free throw. So obviously we have one stat that's higher, but the other two stats, obviously, we can only get them up to a certain point here. So the 90 mid-range, which is a really, really good threshold here. Considering the following, that I did lower the wingspan. Keep that in mind. I did lower the wingspan to a 7'2" when originally Dirk has, I think, a 7'4" wingspan listed on the roster. This is the only reason why I lowered the wingspan, is so we can get some better attributes on shooting. So with the shooting attributes now being, like a 90 and an 83, we have good break points here, especially for the 90 mid-range. That was the most important thing, was for me to get that 90 mid-range to get that post-fade phenom on Hall of Fame. But not only that, but we do have gold set shot specialist as well as silver deadeye, as well from us having the 90 mid-range. And then the 83 three-point rating is pretty good, but that is the, the rating and the breakpoint needed for limitless range on bronze. And because there is no height limit on limitless range, as long as we can get that fucker, I feel like that's a pretty good W there in my personal opinion. And then obviously we have the other stats, that we get from, or like the other badges that we get from mid-range. So that's pretty good there. And then a 92 free throw. Who wouldn't want a 92 free throw? Just saying. So for the playmaking though, Dirk doesn't really have that good of a pass accuracy or ball handling or speed with ball. That's just what makes sense. But one thing that we definitely did do was just increase the pass accuracy here. Now, we did increase the pass accuracy to a 75, which is, pretty dang good, and which is required for a silver break starter. And then keep in mind that the only reason why we're able to increase so much of these other stats here is just because we're not able to get a 96 mid-range or an 88 three-point rating. Because imagine if we were able to, imagine how much lower all these stats would be, like on the bottom end here. So just keep that in mind as well. But the 75 pass accuracy I felt like was really, really good, because that's a good break point for having break starter. It's literally that really good break point for like a big that isn't necessarily going to be the best passer in the world, and isn't, and I say specifically for bigs because bigs normally aren't throwing lobs. Like guards usually can throw lobs even when they're not the best playmakers in general, because versatile visionary is a thing. So that's why it's like usually whenever you see me, talking about like guard builds or anything like that, I usually try to go up to a 78. But if you're playing like a big that isn't going to have like a super high, pass accuracy or anything like that, then I would say definitely go to a 75. 75 is a perfect break point. You don't need a 78. You don't need those alley-oop or creative passes or anything. Those high-risk creative passes and alley-oops, you don't need those because you're not doing them. So you don't need versatile visionary. Keep it out of 75 to get that break starter badge on silver. That's a good threshold there, and then you should be good to go. Now, with the ball handling, though, he has a 57 ball handling. We have a 56, whatever. Cool. Then the speed with ball, 37, is exactly the same that he has on the roster. Also cool. Now, for the defensive side, though, we do have an 82 interior, 62 perimeter, a 60 steal, and a 74 block. Now, all these stats are increased. All of these stats are increased. Every single one of these stats are increased, including the rebounding stats that we'll get to, including all the physicals as well. Like, for some reason, they just made his build really, really shit in the roster. That's all I'm going to say. They made his build really shit, and it's damn near impossible to have it, stat for stat, mainly because we don't have the 96 mid-range and 88 three-point rating, but also because the build is shit. So we made it good. We made it better. We have an 82 interior when he originally has only a 79. The 82 gives us post lockdown on silver, which is pretty damn good. We also have off-ball pest on silver. We also have paint patroller on bronze as well. The perimeter defense being a 62. The 62 perimeter gives us that immovable enforcer badge on bronze. That's the only reason why we increased it up to a 62 rating, is so we can utilize that badge. Then the steal rating being a 60. I talked about this before in my, in plenty other builds and stuff like that, is that interceptor is really, really good. If you can at least get the 60 steal rating, if you're not going to get glove, or if you can't get glove, or whatever the case may be, get at least a 60 for interceptor if you are able to, at least, and then, you should be good to go. Even though he only originally has a 33 perimeter and a 53 steal rating. So there you go. At least the steal rating was increased a little bit, but that perimeter defense, absolutely insane. Almost, I say almost doubled, but pretty much 29 attribute points added on. Insane. And then the block rating being a 74, which is needed for that paint patroller badge on bronze, but we also have pogo stick. We also have high flying denier as well. So these are some really, really decent attributes here. And keep in mind that the block rating was increased from a 65 to a 74 to accommodate this build versus the roster version. So keep that in mind as well. And then the rebounding. We have an 80 offensive rebound and a 92 defensive rebound. And man, let me just say, we have a higher rating here too, folks. We increased the offensive rebound to an 80 from a 69, and then the defense rebound to a 92 from an 86. But with the 92, we do get that gold rebound chaser as well as gold box top piece. We only have bronze pogo stick, but that's just because Dirk doesn't have that much of, vertical. He doesn't need to, because he's slow and methodical, and yes, indeed, he is slow just in general, but he's very, very, like I said, methodical. He is very particular with his movements. He doesn't need to be super fast and sprinting down the court and trying to be as fast as he can to just get to the paint. No, he's slow, methodical, takes his time, makes sure to get the right movement going, and then does his little post fade or jump shot or whatever he's doing. He doesn't need to be super fast or anything. So that's why his physicals just, in the roster just kind of suck, because, in real life, they kind of do suck. But in the builder, you can't do that. Which is why if we talk about the physicals, though, with the 60 speed, the 58 agility, yeah, that's higher. That is literally higher. And then the 60 would be able to give us high flying denier on silver if we could, but I just felt like a 60 was pretty dang decent, considering that originally on his roster version, he only gets a 46 speed and 46 agility, which is 14 points added on onto speed and 12 whole points added on to agility, which the agility doesn't really give us anything, but does help a little bit more on the defensive side of things. Now, with our strength being an 86, his strength originally on the roster is a 74. We have a significantly higher strength here because post powerhouse being on gold is really, really good for us being a post scorer. And also like the 86 for, you know, box out beast. We have brick wall on silver, post lockdown on silver. We have immovable enforcer on bronze at least. You know, we have physical finisher on bronze. Yeah, there's like all kinds of badges here, man. So we got some really, really good stats here. And then the 63 vertical, when he's only got a 40 on the roster. Let's talk about this though real quick. Pogo stick, rise up, aerial wizard, high flying denier, all bronze. You take one stat away. Oh, look, what's that? Pogo stick is gone? Yeah, that's the only reason why it's up to a 63 is pogo stick. But we got some good stats here. I feel like this is pretty dang good for a Dirk Nowitzki build. Pretty damn accurate. And as you can see, the game agrees. We got Dirk Nowitzki, Bobby Portis Jr., and Karl Anthony Towns as our shades of comparisons as we get a 3-level scoring board hunter, man. I feel like it's a really, really good build. If you guys kind of agree with that, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of this build. If you guys want to see any other particular builds being made, I got one other request build that is, you know, currently being made right now. I think I have it at a point where I feel like it's really, really good, even though we don't get the comparison of this player, but I feel like it's still really, really good. And a lot of these players that I'm making do have like pro-tuned versions that will have the shades of comparison of these players. So keep that in mind as well. But also at the same time, I will be going through a lot of the pro-tuned builds in the future as well. And, you know, giving my thoughts and ideas on these, like on the builds and, you know, what their comparison are and like who they're inspired by, and kind of give like my thought process and all that. So let me know if you guys are interested in seeing the pro-tuned builds and me going over all the pro-tuned builds, giving like my thoughts and opinions on them, and, you know, comparing the pro-tuned builds compared to what I have for my versions of those players, so on and so forth. But let me know if you guys are interested in that. That's going to be it for me. Like, subscribe, turn the notifications on, click that bell, whatever. Do all the YouTube things, man. Do all the YouTube things. But anyway, that's going to be it for me. I'll see you all in the next one. Later, everybody.